Have you ever wished you had a cheat code for learning something new? You know, a way to just skip past all the frustrating parts and get right to the good stuff fast? Well, today we're going to break down a method for learning skills that honestly, it feels like cheating. So let's get into it. But first, I have to kick things off with a pretty bold statement. One that might just challenge everything you think you know about studying. And it's this: you've been taught how to learn wrong. I mean, think about it. All those hours you've spent with a highlighter, just rereading your notes over and over, cramming the night before a big exam, we've all been there. But what if I told you that research shows it's a colossal waste of time? Yeah, it feels productive, but it just doesn't stick. So let's just tear down that old broken model. In this first part, we're going to expose what I call the learning lie, this fundamental misunderstanding of how our brains actually build and hold on to new skills. Now, the secret to breaking free from that lie is a really simple but incredibly powerful mental shift. It's all about moving from a focus on input to a focus on output. And trust me, understanding this one difference, it changes absolutely everything. So, check this out. On the left, you've got input. This is all the passive stuff, right? Watching tutorials, reading articles. Let's be honest, you could basically call this entertainment. It feels like you're learning, but you're not really. Now, on the right, you've got output. This is the active stuff. It's doing, it's applying, it's building, it's creating. This is where the real learning happens. And this, right here, is the absolute key. You can watch 100 videos on how to code, but you won't learn a thing until you start writing the code yourself. You can read a dozen books on public speaking, but that skill is only built when you actually get up and speak. True learning, the kind that actually sticks, only starts the moment you switch from consuming to creating. Okay, so if output is the real deal, how do we practice it? How do we do it effectively? Let's build out your Active Learning Toolkit with a couple of specific, super practical techniques you can literally start using today. First step is an absolute powerhouse called Active Recall. So instead of just rereading a page in a book, you close the book and you force your brain to try and retrieve the information from memory. You know that struggle, right? That feeling of reaching for a fact that's on the tip of your tongue? Well, that struggle isn't a sign you're failing. It's the process of building a stronger connection in your brain. It's like a bicep curl for your memory. Next in the toolkit is the teacher technique. And this one is just brilliantly simple. Once you think you've learned a concept, try to explain it out loud. To an empty chair, to your dog, record yourself on your phone, it doesn't matter. If you can't explain it simply and clearly without getting all mixed up, that's a huge sign that you don't really understand it yet. It is the ultimate test. All right, now it's time to put it all together. We've busted the learning lie, we've got our tools. Now it's time for the actual game plan, the 20-hour sprint challenge. The secret sauce that makes this sprint so incredibly powerful is the 80-20 rule. You might have heard of it as the Pareto Principle. The whole idea is that in pretty much any area, a small percentage of your effort, like 20%, is going to get you the vast majority of your results, like 80%. Our goal isn't to learn everything, it's to learn the right things. So how do you actually apply this? You have to identify and then laser focus on only the 20% of subskills that will give you 80% of what you want. Think about learning a language. Instead of trying to memorize an entire dictionary, which is crazy, you just learn the 1,000 most common words. Why? Because that's what makes up most of everyday conversation. You get fluent way faster just by being strategic. And this breaks it all down into 4 dead simple steps. Number 1, pick a skill you really want to learn. 2, deconstruct it and find that critical 20% of subskills. 3, practice only those critical subskills. And 4, commit to just 30 minutes a day using active recall and the teacher technique. That's it. In about 40 days, you've already hit your 20 hours. Now, I've got to give you a little warning. This whole approach, active recall, forcing yourself to create, it is going to feel much, much harder than just passively watching a video. Your brain will fight you on it because it takes more energy. But that feeling of difficulty, that's the sign that it's actually working. The payoff for that extra effort is that you learn dramatically faster. So, the framework is all yours now. 20 hours of focused, active, strategic effort. Forget the whole 10,000-hour myth for a minute and just start with the first 20. So the only question I have left for you is, what will you master first?